Doeg the Edomite is actually working for the Philistines. This theory claims the mysterious assassin isn't just a hired blade for King Saul. He's a double agent planted by King Achish to destabilize Israel from within. Doeg appears at convenient moments, always pushing Saul toward his worst impulses. He executed the priests at Nab without hesitation, a massacre that served Philistine interests by weakening Israel's spiritual foundation. The theory points to how Doeg never questions orders, operates with zero moral restraint, and seems to anticipate events before they happen. His Edomite heritage positions him as an outsider with divided loyalties. When Saul loses his military in Season 2 and relies entirely on mercenaries, Doeg becomes the king's right hand. That's exactly where a spy would want to be. The theory suggests he's feeding intelligence to Achish, reporting on Israel's internal collapse, and ensuring the civil war between Saul and David drags on long enough for the Philistines to strike when both sides are exhausted. His violence isn't madness, it's strategy. Abner is planning to defect to David's side. This theory claims Saul's military commander is secretly losing faith in his king and preparing to switch allegiances. Abner has watched Saul descend into madness, making increasingly irrational decisions that cost soldiers' lives. His trip to Endor in Season 2 wasn't just about seeking forbidden knowledge, it was about finding answers Saul can no longer provide. The theory points to subtle moments where Abner questions orders, hesitates before executing Saul's commands, and shows respect for David despite being enemies. He's a pragmatist who understands Israel needs stable leadership, and Saul isn't it anymore. Abner has connections, resources, and the loyalty of half the army. If he defects, he brings massive military power to David's cause. The show has been building tension between Abner and Saul, showing a loyal soldier being pushed too far. Season 3 could reveal Abner making secret contact with David's camp, offering alliance in exchange for position and protection. It would be the ultimate betrayal of Saul and the turning point that makes David's kingship inevitable. Abner choosing survival and pragmatism over blind loyalty changes everything. Ishbal orchestrated Queen Ahinoam's disappearance. This theory claims Saul's middle son didn't just benefit from his mother's vanishing act, he caused it. Ishbal has been positioned as the schemer, the brother who plays all sides while serving only himself. His marriage to a tribal leader's daughter opened diplomatic channels, but it also gave him resources and allies outside the palace. The theory suggests he framed Ahinoam or orchestrated her exile to remove the one person who could control Saul's madness and challenge Eshbal's manipulations. With the queen gone, Eshbal operates freely. He whispers poison in his father's ear, isolates Jonathan, and positions himself as the only son loyal to the crown, but his loyalty is performance. The theory argues he wants Saul and David to destroy each other so the throne falls to him by default. Removing Ahinoam was step 1. She was too smart, too protective of her children, and too aware of palace politics. Eshbal needed her gone to execute his plan. Season 3 will likely reveal whether he succeeds, or if Merab and Michal discover his betrayal and turn the family against him. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting a lot here. Thank you. Jonathan's covenant with David runs deeper than typical friendship. This theory suggests the show is emphasizing the profound nature of their bond beyond what's typically shown in adaptations. The covenant between Jonathan and David goes beyond typical male friendship in ancient warrior culture. Jonathan defends David at personal cost, risks his inheritance, and openly defies his father despite knowing it means losing the throne. Their scenes carry weight beyond duty or honor. The theory points to how the show frames their interactions with emotional depth and sacrifice. When Jonathan trains David for battle, there's a mentorship that transcends politics. When he protects David from Saul's assassination attempts, the stakes feel deeply personal. Season 2 showed Jonathan choosing David over family repeatedly, a decision rooted in his recognition of God's anointing on David's life. How covenant relationships in biblical culture were considered sacred bonds, sometimes valued above blood relations. This theory suggests the series is depicting the full weight of what biblical covenant friendship meant, showing a relationship willing to sacrifice everything, including a throne. King Achish's vendetta is personal because David's family was involved in past conflicts. This theory argues Achish's obsession with destroying Israel isn't just about conquest. The flashbacks in Season 2 revealed traumatic origins of his vendetta, showing violence against his family involving Israelites. The theory suggests David's family, perhaps his brothers serving in Saul's army or his father Jesse in earlier border conflicts, crossed paths with Achish's relatives during raids or battles. Maybe they unknowingly participated in an attack that killed someone important to Achish. Now Akish sees the shepherd boy celebrated as a hero and realizes this family connection. It would explain why Akish takes the conflict so personally. He's not just a king seeking territory, he's a man seeking revenge against the very symbol of Israel's resistance. Season 3 could reveal this connection, making their inevitable confrontation deeply personal rather than purely political. It reframes the entire Philistine threat through trauma and loss, not just power. This adds complexity to Akish's character while maintaining the biblical framework of Philistine opposition. Michal will face an impossible choice between David and her father. This theory claims King Saul's youngest daughter faces a heartbreaking dilemma in Season 3 that will test her deepest loyalties. Michal loves David, that's established. But she also loves her father despite his corruption. As Saul spirals further into paranoia and violence, the kingdom tears apart. The theory suggests Michal realizes she cannot save both men she loves. If she stays loyal to David, she loses her father and possibly endangers her family. If she protects Saul, she betrays her husband and God's anointed king. It's a no-win situation born from civil war, tearing families apart. The show has set up Michal as torn between loyalties since Season 1. Her marriage to David was political, but genuine affection grew. Now that love is colliding with family duty. The theory argues she'll be forced to make a decision that devastates her regardless of what she chooses. This positions Michal as a tragic figure caught between impossible loyalties, someone crushed between the collapse of her father's kingdom and the rise of her husband's destiny. The blacksmith at Endor is forging weapons for future giant warriors. This theory connects Season 2's mysterious blacksmith to larger conflicts ahead. When Abner leads the group to Endor, they encounter a blacksmith offering specialized equipment and knowledge. The theory suggests this craftsman is preparing for threats beyond normal warfare. The biblical account mentions other giant warriors from Gath who will challenge Israel after Goliath's death. David's victory made him a target for other warriors of extraordinary size. The blacksmith, possibly working with knowledge passed down through generations, is crafting weapons specifically designed for such opponents. His weapons aren't ordinary. They're engineered for fighting enemies that standard equipment can't handle. Season 3 will likely introduce these challenges, and David will need specialized tools to survive. The blacksmith represents Israel using ingenuity and preparation to overcome physically superior enemies. It's the principle of David's sling applied broadly, intelligence and craft defeating raw power. This theory sets up future conflicts while explaining the show's emphasis on the blacksmith's mysterious role. Prophet Samuel's final words carry multiple layers of meaning. This theory claims Samuel's confrontation with Saul at the tabernacle wasn't just condemnation, it was a layered prophecy that will unfold across Season 3. Samuel's declarations about the kingdom being torn away and given to someone better weren't simple statements. They were specific predictions about timing and method. The theory suggests his words contain clues about how Saul's downfall will actually occur, through family betrayal, military defection, and personal isolation. Every phrase Samuel spoke could reference specific events coming in Season 3. His prophecies have proven accurate throughout the series, so rewatching that scene might reveal foreshadowing viewers missed. The show has established Samuel as God's authentic prophet whose words carry divine authority. This theory argues the writers packed that final confrontation with intentional details that will pay off as the season progresses. It's not just dramatic dialogue, it's a roadmap for what's coming. Analyzing Samuel's exact wording might predict which characters survive, who betrays whom, and how David ultimately takes the throne. The grain silo attack was an inside job orchestrated by Eshbal. This theory takes Season 2's devastating attack on Israel's food supply and points fingers at the prince who benefits most from chaos. When the silos burned, Israel faced famine, forcing Saul to make desperate alliances, including a deal with Edom. But who gained from that desperation? Eshbal. He recommended the Edom deal, positioning himself as a problem solver while the kingdom crumbled. The theory suggests he arranged the attack, possibly paying mercenaries or coordinating with enemies, to create a crisis only he could navigate. The attack weakened Abner's military position and made Saul more dependent on his son's diplomatic connections through marriage alliances. Everything about the grain silo disaster served Eshbal's interests. Season 3 could expose this conspiracy through witnesses or confessions from captured conspirators. If true, it would make Eshbal the series' most dangerous schemer, operating with cold calculation while everyone focuses on external threats. It shows how Israel's biggest danger might not be Philistines, but internal corruption eating away at the kingdom's foundation. Merab will take drastic action to protect her siblings. This theory predicts a pivotal turn for King Saul's eldest daughter. Merab has been positioned as intelligent, morally complex, and fiercely protective of Jonathan and Michal. She supported family unity initially, but as schemes and betrayals become clear, she'll realize the greatest threats come from within. The theory argues Merab will make difficult choices to protect her siblings' futures, possibly even confronting Eshbal directly if his conspiracies endanger the family. She's strong enough to take action and ruthless enough when necessary to protect those she loves. This would complete her arc from dutiful daughter to active protector, someone who won't wait for others to solve problems that threaten her family. The show has been building Merab's strength and intelligence, suggesting a major role ahead. Season 3 positioning her aware of palace intrigue indicates she'll become a key player in the kingdom's fate. Her actions could alter the balance of power, either supporting David's rise or attempting to preserve what's left of her father's house. Either way, she won't remain passive while her family destroys itself. The King of Edom has been manipulating events through multiple agents. This theory connects various antagonists into a larger conspiracy. Season 2 revealed Edom's king has deep grievances and past connections to the characters. The theory argues Edom has been playing an elaborate game, using multiple operatives to undermine Israel. Doeg being Edomite isn't a coincidence, he's a planted agent. When Eshbal arranged marriage alliances with Edom, he unknowingly empowered the very kingdom, undermining Israel from within. Edom benefits from Israel's civil war, positioned to claim territory and influence once both sides exhaust themselves. This would tie multiple plot threads together while expanding scope beyond Israelites versus Philistines. It makes the conflict more complex, with multiple kingdoms pursuing their own agendas. David will need to navigate not just Saul's pursuit and Philistine threats, but also hidden enemies working through proxies. It adds layers of political intrigue while staying true to the biblical era's complex international relationships. David's brothers will struggle with his rise to prominence. This theory predicts Eliab and David's other brothers will face increasing tension over David's fame and destiny. Eliab has always been the decorated warrior, the one who earned respect through years of military service. Then his younger brother shows up, defeats Goliath, and becomes a national hero overnight. That creates natural resentment. Season 2 showed Eliab on difficult missions, making hard choices under Saul's command. He's being tested and possibly influenced by Saul's perspective. The theory argues this tension will escalate in Season 3, creating family drama that mirrors the larger kingdom conflict. Will David's brothers support his claim to the throne, or will jealousy and pride make them obstacles? The biblical account shows complex family dynamics, and the show can explore that tension. Joab's role becomes interesting since he's related to both sides and serves as David's commander. Family relationships will be tested as David's destiny unfolds. It explores how extraordinary calling can strain ordinary relationships, even among those who should be most supportive. Not everyone celebrates when their sibling becomes legendary. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here. I would greatly appreciate it if you could subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.